War Eagle, War Report family, it's your guy, C-Dub. And for tonight's live show, we're going to be discussing the latest regarding recruiting. Auburn resuming spring practice this week, as well as other news surrounding the program. So, fellas, y'all ready for a good show tonight?
Let's go. Let's go.
Know.
Well, they're ready, and you better be ready because we are about to enter the war room.
You are now listening to the War Report. Wednesday night War Room. Ike Jones. B. Will. C. Doe. Mike G. Let's go!
War Eagle. Welcome to the latest Wednesday night War Room live show. And also, if you're joining us live for the first time, you are joining the best Auburn community on YouTube. That's the War Report family.
That's on the internet.
Welcome.
Baby.
Do what's necessary. Please smash that like button. Drop a War Eagle in the comments. I see y'all doing that already. Please, by all means, shout your city out. Share this on your social media so people know we
That's
out here.
what I was doing right now. I was just sharing mine to my Facebook. Make sure my Facebook folks know what's up.
Yeah, listen, I see all the usuals in here. War Eagle Billy Jones in the house. He is one of our most ardent commenters. I see Corey Weber in the house. My man. Listen, it was deadlift day. Corey, it was deadlift day. Michael Morrison's in here. Damien Postel. I see all the usuals.
CD Williams.
I have a concealed carry license, so I'm gonna make sure I keep my guns tucked away for y'all. You know,
yeah, you know how like I'm always skulking the internet for new Auburn stuff. You know, there was a time in my life after school that my
Auburn dad made it to the live, baby. What's up? My bad.
It did. My Auburn wardrobe got pretty thin, and so like I'm always every month or so I'm looking for something unique and original on the fan sites or on Amazon to add to my Auburn pride. Kendrick Hicks in here, new member Kelsey Garner. Listen, that's significant. This is a significant move in your life, Kelsey. This is a significant moment, right? I want to talk about why it's significant for a second. So, as an insider, Kelsey will now have access to Chop It Up with a Pro. And if you don't know what that is, we're going to let you know. Chop It Up with a Pro. Chris Todd coming tomorrow night. So myself, Ike Jones, Chris Todd, we're going to be on the line with you guys. Chris will be taking your questions. So this first one is a Q&A. If you ever had a question you want to ask a QB, a guy who did it at a high level at Auburn, tomorrow night is your chance. This segment is purely about you guys. You know, so as a paid supporter of our channel, we want to give you guys this additional opportunity for engagement with former players. Chris is a great guy. You know, if you haven't seen the building rapport segment that we did with him, please go back and watch that interview. We broke it into two parts. He broke it down, explains the quarterback position, explains what it's like being a quarterback under the last guy. So we'll stop saying his name here, but I strongly suggest you sign up. Speaking of signing up, become an insider. $5.99 a month will get you there. You know, if you want a testimonial, ask any of the insiders in our chat about these Chop It Up with the Pros. It's something that's unique and original and not being done anywhere on the internet right now. So the $5.99 that you give us every month helps us to continue to grow the content that we bring you every month, and helps make us the #1 community for Auburn fans on the internet. Along with that, we have our GoFundMe. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. Again, we use that funds to increase the quality of content that we bring to you. Merch store is live. Get your weight up. It's spring, baby. I'm hitting the gym. Everybody's hitting the gym, yacht style. So along with that, if you have not seen it, we dropped part 2 of our interview with Coach Kevin Yachts. This part had a little bit of everything. Emotions. He told stories about Cam Newton. I mean, it was such a telling interview, man. He is a great man and a great guy, and we were honored and humbled that he gave us 2 hours of his time to talk about strength and conditioning and what it's like to be the head of that at Auburn. So don't miss part 2. That is live right now for everybody. Part 3 coming you guys' way on Monday, Saturday for Insiders.
Man. CM.
Here's some of the comments in here. People asking about B Will. B Will is here in spirit. Yeah. And he will probably find him in the comments if we say something that provokes him. So we're going to start talking about him behind his back and saying ridiculous stuff like Jimbo Fisher is the second best coach, or is the best coach in SEC. You'll probably see B Will in the comments lurking eventually. So yes. Just the 3 of us tonight. Also got a question by Auburn Dad. What do you guys think of Harsin opening up live scrimmage to Auburn staff, students, among others? I'm stoked my son's going. He's going to be an Auburn student sophomore. Listen, genius. Yeah, also, we actually asked Harsin's right-hand man. We did an interview with Brad Larondo. Be on the lookout for that interview. That's going to be coming out in a few weeks. Listen. You get to know what kind of guy we got in Harsin by talking to this guy. This guy has seen Harsin as a student athlete. He's seen Harsin as an assistant coach, and as a head coach, he's seen the evolution. And he is I can't think of a better guy for Harsin to have close to him than Brad Larondo.
Yeah, he represented the program well in that interview.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I would just say, as somebody who's been with Harsin for a while and is in charge of a lot. Right. Of what we're going to see on Saturdays. Right. So it's not just about the coaches on the field. Right. There's a lot of support staff that put in a lot of hard work to make sure that we can be proud as fans of what we see on Saturday, the product that they put out. And it is clear that the focus is there. The plan is there. And, if they get a chance to implement what they're doing, year one is going to produce a lot of hope for the future. So I won't say, it's coming out in a few weeks. I'll say a few weeks, but we have not planned a date to drop that interview yet because of some mitigating circumstances about other interviews. So we are going to ping you guys when that's coming. And you're going to start to see some more interviews that are not just former players, but people around the program. As we get closer, people love talking to the War Report, baby. We're excited about that. But the scrimmage, right? I just think, hey, listen, opening it up. There's something that we haven't seen that we're seeing now that I like. Show us what we're buying tickets for, man, and spending all this time on these lives talking about, right? Give us something. And, it's going to be, what we're looking for is we're just looking to see that players are energized, excited, that they know what their responsibilities are, that they look sharp. I read an article about Chandler Wooten, and man, he has shaken the rust off and is going at it this spring. And that's a scary thing for a lot of SEC offenses come fall. So, that's what I'm looking for in these open practices. I'm just looking to see the guys know what they're supposed to be doing here. And I had no doubt on defense that was what we were going to have. So I think on offense, defense hasn't really been an issue for us over the last few years. I think most of the eyes are going to be on the offense to see, how are receivers developing and how is the O-line coming along. Right. Because as they go, I think Auburn will go. And, it doesn't need to be said that we need to make sure we have quality quarterback play. But, that's all we're looking for here. And it's going to show us a lot about whether anybody has gained any ground on that number 2 spot at the QB position. Mm-hmm. Right. Because now we're in this. So fleshing out who's taking now. Snaps with the ones are going to be limited. They should be limited, right?
Agreed.
At this point in spring practice, snaps with the ones should be limited to only the guys who actually have a shot to be that number 2 QB. And I think we're all resigned to the fact that Bo's going to start. But, if things happen in the first 4 games, then, one of those guys, somebody's got to step in.
Agreed.
Right? If, in case of injury or if he's just not getting it done. So I'm excited to see what we see from that personally.
Ike, what about you, bro?
In regards to the scrimmage situation,
Yeah.
what are we asking my opinion on?
About the scrimmage and how what are your idea? What are your thoughts about the scrimmage? We talked about it in the previous lives, but just a refresher.
Yeah, I mean,
what did you think about
another one this weekend? I mean, of course, I like the idea that they are trying to give more opportunities for interaction with the fans, with the community, and let them see a part of the process. I think what I am seeing right now is a couple of things. It's a staff that has a very firm commitment, just an Auburn athletic department, but specifically around the football department right now that has a really huge commitment to how they want to market things, right? They are controlling this narrative very well about what they want to put out, about the impressions they want to see from the program, and the glimpses that they're giving the fans into this stuff has been really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how we progress. I'm hoping I'm not getting a sales job done on me where, we're selling a bunch of hype and then we get out here on the field and it's looking like trash. But listen, I'm buying what they're selling right now. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely buying what they're selling, but they're doing a really great job of selling it. So it's just like, all right, don't let this be one of them movie trailers that has me hyped for the movie. Then I go see the movie and I'm like, well, you showed me all the stuff that was nice in the trailer. The rest of the movie's trash.
Right.
So I don't get the sense that that's what we're seeing right now, but we'll definitely see. I'm looking forward to seeing some more stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks with these scrimmages, because the scrimmages show you a little bit more than just a regular practice does, because it shows you guys competing, even if they're not going, full speed. Like the competitiveness still kind of shines through when you get into those scrimmage situations. So looking forward.
Yeah, for sure. I see some comments in here about the Bedell interview. It was impressive.
Yeah, we're definitely going to dive into all of those interviews.
For sure.
Got an opportunity to look at those. So we'll be talking about that here in just a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a question about will Chris be chopping up film? Yes, but in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is for the fans to just ask him questions, whatever they want to ask him. He's just going to be hanging out, answering your questions, just kicking it with us for about an hour or so.
Yeah,
so that'll be that. But in 2 weeks,
just y'all, man. It's whatever y'all want to talk about with Chris. That's what we're going to discuss.
Absolutely.
Not the film review portion. You got to wait a little bit longer for that. But I can tell you, we got some good cut ups from the film. Mike and I were just going through the film a little bit earlier today. So we've got some good cut ups from last year's film. If I have some time in the next couple of days, I might throw, at the request of Ed Darby. Ed Darby wants more time with the film. You know what I'm saying? I might try to go in and cut up some more looks at some stuff. But it's going to be focused on the QB play. Listen, I know a lot of you all have been wanting to hear us talk about quarterback play and some of the things that we saw. We're going to talk about it. And again, I'm going to show good things and I'm going to show bad things. So it's going to be a very balanced film review. I'm going to make sure that we highlight some things that you might not pay attention to on plays. We're going to talk about just really just kind of the structure of how the play is set up. And then, we're going to get Chris to weigh in on what he sees pre-snap and all of the things that what are you reading on the defense? We're going to talk. If you haven't seen the film review, then you don't understand. We are actually going to be breaking down film. Like it ain't just, okay, here's the play and let it run. Like we're going to be talking about, what are you supposed to be looking at right here? Where are your eyes when you're doing through what's the progression on this? Forget about what kind of offense they were supposed to be running. If you were running this and you were looking at this, what are you seeing? Right. So we want to get that perspective from people who've done it in a system. So he's seen this system, right? So
he was the first.
Right.
He was the first at Auburn in this system under Gus. So it's a very unique perspective on what the quarterback's responsibilities are in this system. Right.
So we're going to really be getting insight on what was happening offensively the last couple of years from a guy who's had to do something. It might not be the exact same thing, but something very similar. He's had to do it. We're gonna dive into that. So that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. You want to make sure you are an insider if you want to be able to look at that.
Right.
Yeah. Just do what this guy right here did, man. Just become a member, man. Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
CM said he had been a member, which is true. He had been a member for a while, but his card had expired. He had to swap that thing out. But he made sure to get back right with the family. You understand? So we appreciate that very much, CM.
Oh man, be him.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, my brother.
Appreciate you. So yeah, like I just want to touch on these film reviews for a second too, right? Like, this is truly something unique that we do, because when you look elsewhere, right, like every once in a while, ESPN will do a special if your team is important enough to them to break down a few plays, with some guys who don't know much about Auburn or Gus's system and maybe know a little bit about football. These are getting better and better as we go. And I will tell you, I don't mind saying this. We're making a strong push to get the all 22 to break down film for you guys. Now, if we get that all 22, it's over. Your insider price may go up a little bit, but we're making a push to get the all 22, and it's not easy film to get. So we're forming those relationships now. At the end of the day, we want to be able to help you guys, and help ourselves understand the game better from doing this, right? That you watch football differently. As a film guy in college, every once in a while they would give me a Saturday off, and I would go sit in the student section during the game. And at halftime, I'd always have to go back up to the press box, because sitting around listening to the average fan talk about what they don't know anything about was mind-numbing. We want to make smarter fans. We want to make fans who understand a lot more of what they're watching. And at the end of the day, we just got to remember what's good about these film reviews is that because this isn't Harson's offense that we're doing a film review on, we're talking about basic football player fundamental stuff.
Right.
That would be true in any offense. And, as the season goes on, hopefully we get more film, if we get the all 22 during the season on Harson's offense. And what's going on there, so we can all understand that a little better as well too. It should make us more patient as fans with what we're seeing. These guys have a tall task in front of them in terms of learning a new system.
Let me break in. I'm sorry, I hate to cut you off. A-Day tickets are on sale right now. You can go cop them right now. I don't want to take y'all away from this live too, but put it in a separate tab or something. But you can go ahead and cop your tickets if you want to go in there and get your tickets for A-Day, just in case. I was interested in that, but they are available and on sale right now for the spring game.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, man. Man.
So lots going on here, right? Like I just feel like these chop it ups are a significant value to our community, and now we have limited that to insiders. So this will be the first one where if you are not an insider, you won't be able not to even see it. Insiders will get to watch, and if you miss it live, you will be able to watch it on replay. You obviously, if you watch it on replay, you won't be able to ask Chris Todd any questions, but we get to 95% of the questions in that segment. So you definitely don't want to miss that. We're and this is not the only thing you're ever going to get as insiders, right? Like, we're continuing to build that content. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of generosity that our community has shown us in terms of financial support. So we are taking those dollars out. I said them on the last live. I say it every live till the end of the year. There's a lot of people out here asking you for money for nothing in return. Not at the War Report, right? Like, we really want to grow this and give you guys some value and continue that community. So exclusive to insiders only on Thursday, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Tune into YouTube. You won't be able to see it on Facebook, right? Like, and we're gonna have some fun tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed.
Let me make sure I shout this out real quick. He joined the other day. He texted me and let me know, man. My guy from Unleashed Magazine,
yes.
Avery Thrasher,
Avery,
and jumped in here, man. I appreciate you very much, sir. Unleashed Magazine. If you're a dog lover, he has a magazine for dog owners that he's doing out there. So y'all go check out Unleashed magazine for stuff that he's got on. But we got some other people that have joined since we're in the live.
Shout some people out.
Yeah.
Terrence Davis said he's finally getting his weight up, Mike. That was for
Yeah,
you.
let's go, baby. Get it all the way up.
Yep,
Also,
Awesome.
appreciate that, Mr. Head. Not
Me
worried about the
too,
price
Jonathan.
going up. I'll cancel my net. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about right there,
Me
man.
too, Jonathan. I'll cancel the Verizon. I will cancel the Disney Plus for that all 22, right? And so just let me get my hands on that, right?
Yes,
and
indeed.
I'll quit my job for that all 22, baby. Let's go.
Spicy penguin.
Yeah.
And my
I'm
boss
gonna
is
have to
listening.
agree. I'm just
My-
gonna have to agree with you on that, man. I mean, the value you get back is yes. I have to agree with that.
Yeah,
Shout
Netflix
out
don't
to
talk
Sean.
back to you, but the War Report does.
Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Sean Feely, my man.
Demario,
Appreciate that, my brother.
man.
Appreciate that, my brother. Listen, man. Let's get in. Let's talk. Go ahead and get this out the way, man. All right. This guy commits to Georgia.
Yeah.
Tyke Smith.
Ah,
How you pronounce it? Is it Tyke?
I think
Smith?
it's Tyke. Yeah.
Tyke,
yeah,
all right.
Tyke Smith.
He commits to Georgia. It makes sense. I mean, his former DB coach went to Georgia. Georgia had a few guys. They lost a few guys to the NFL. One guy, I think, entered the portal, transferred to Miami. There was some spots
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
And there's familiarity with your coach. I mean, being
Yeah.
there, it made sense. It made sense. You know, what you guys think about that? We ain't got to stay here long.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. When we talked about the potential of it happening, I was already saying how I felt as if our secondary was stacked, right? I didn't know that we needed especially another safety. I think we are fairly good at that spot. And he would have been splitting time. Like, I just don't know that you come in and he would have been able to take snaps away from Smoke Monday, regardless of how good he was at West Virginia. I don't know that he comes in and takes away snaps from Ladarius Tennyson. We've already talked about how Chris Thompson is good in the back end. We've already talked, like, there's guys that we have back there that can go and play safety and start anywhere in the SEC. So I don't know that we needed a transfer guy to play safety. So I'm not mad at it. You know, hey, listen, much success to him, all but one game of the year.
Absolutely. I mean,
I hope
it's
he
one of
has
those
a terrible
situations.
game that game.
Listen, it's one of those situations where the rich would have gotten richer because we're in a decent spot. I mean, we could use the added depth for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the way our secondary is shaping up is it just would have been a luxury at this point. So listen, to your point, Ike, I wish him well. You know, I wish him well, except again for the Georgia Auburn game. I hope you get burned early and often.
Yeah,
all right?
I need him to have a terrible game that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about pretty much every player in the SEC. Like, I really don't care what you do the rest of the season. When you play us, I need you to have the worst game of your career.
Yeah, I think that the move made sense for him.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of competition in our defensive backfield. So, like, I totally understand it, right? But you know, just like many decisions that a person has to make in life, right? He's going to live to regret this one, right? Like, he's going to wish that he chose Auburn. So, you know, at the end of the day, there are winners and there are losers. I really hope that during this Georgia versus Auburn saga, that Harsin, this is the number one thing I hope he turns around during his tenure at Auburn. Losing to Georgia has become way too regular and way too convenient for Georgia. Right. It's like a foregone conclusion. We've been in a couple of dogfights with them, no pun intended, but we mainly just got run off the field.
Right.
Over the last 8 years, you know, and similar to Bama, when we beat them, it's like a miracle of some sort, like something miraculous.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of craziness. I mean, 2017, you know, wasn't necessarily miraculous, but if you go back and look at that game, it was really like, you know, they had a muffed punt that put us in a good position to score. The jailbreak screen happened on that during that game. So it wasn't like we went out there and really like dominated from beginning to end. Georgia screwed up a lot in that game.
They did.
Oh, for sure.
And we took advantage of those mistakes. So, I mean, and that's what you're supposed to do. When somebody messes up, you're supposed to take advantage of it. But yeah, I didn't see us dominant. And again, so I was listening to sort of tangential to what we're talking about, but I from time to time when I'm on my morning commute taking my son to school, I listen to ESPNU radio on Sirius XM, and I was listening to Greg McElroy and Danny Cannell. Danny Cannell are on the first team for that show. Talk about Coach Harson's hire and what they thought about it and whether or not it was the right move for Auburn and all this kind of stuff. And the stuff that they were pointing to, it's like, oh, it's kind of difficult to beat Bama, so like, what they basically the question they were asking of their audience is, what's it going to take for Auburn to be content with a head coach that they have, right? Because you have a head coach that came in and won a national title, then he had a down year and they got rid of him. Then you have Gus Malzahn come in and he has 8 years of winning seasons. He goes to a national title. He wins, or he takes us and wins the SEC West 1 year, and we still got rid of him. It's like, when will Auburn fans be content enough to keep a coach, right? And saying all of that, I was just like, you guys clearly don't understand the pulse of Auburn fans, because beating Bama occasionally and all of this other crap that you're talking about has nothing to do with how poor the product was on the field consistently in the Gus Malzahn tenure as head coach. So, and if all you're looking at is the record, then of course you're going to say, oh, Gus Malzahn did a good job. Oh, he beat Bama a couple of times. He must have been doing a good job. That's just not factual. It's just not a factual thing. Like if you look at where we were in the recruiting rankings when he first got here versus where we were ending up in the recruiting rankings towards the end of his tenure, if you look at how inconsistent we were in bowl games, if you look how inconsistent we were against the top competition, we've gone through this entire list over and over again. And then you add on to that how much we were paying him. Listen, it's time to go, bro. Like, it's just, I don't know what else to tell you about that. It's time to cut bait and move on.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mike.
No, I mean, I ditto to everything that Ike just said. At the end of the day, I see Chase H here in the comments. He did listen. There's a video on his channel. It's like a 15-minute video on the correlation between being at the top of the recruiting rankings every year and championships. And we are one of the few teams that averaged a top 10 recruiting class over the last 10 years. And haven't sniffed the championship, really, except for 2013, which was his first year. So, I mean, when you look back at it, there's no excuse. And let's not even talk championships. Let's just talk about finishing in or around the top 10, with top 10 talent, and to the answer the question that was proposed, that's what would make Auburn fans content enough to keep a coach.
Correct.
Right. That our ranking is, and we're a clear plan of development. Ain't nobody talking about firing Bruce Pearl,
right? Yeah. And it's so. I mean, to be clear, it is a little different. Like, their point was that and this is a point a lot of people try to make, is that we're looking to the northwest of the state, or to the northwest of the state, and saying, well, our rival is doing XYZ. Why can't we do that same thing? Now, one thing I will say that they said that was balanced enough that I liked was that Auburn's one of the few places who can have expectations of 9-10 wins a season and actually go out there and do it. There are a lot of teams who fancy themselves, man, we need to be able to win, no shade, actually absolutely all shade to Arkansas fans. But, that's something that they were trying to talk about during their last few coaching changes. They wanted a guy who could win 9-10 games. It's like, all right, you might, but Butch Davis ain't gonna get you there,
right? But you need a guy who can develop,
right? Chad Morris ain't gonna get you there. Like, you can have that expectation if you want. Your program is not in a place in the SEC West where you can win 9 to 10 games. Auburn was in that position, and we slowly saw ourselves backing away from that spot.
Well, listen, you're not going to out recruit Alabama, so just forget that, right? What you need to do, is you need to out develop and you need to out coach Saban. He can be outcoached.
Yeah, listen, Gus has the times that we've beat Bama, Gus did a better job coaching and making decisions within that game than Nick Saban did. Just
to barely beat him.
Right, he got him. Like, that's just point blank period. Like, okay, the reason why the Gus Malzahn system worked is because he figured out ways.
You're right, John. He said development.
Oh, my bad. I didn't have my cup, but I drank a little something at the bottom. There is, he found ways that were within the rules to fool the other teams. He's like, oh, wait a minute, this is within the rule book. We're going to have this unbalanced line, and we're going to line up this guy who's split out wide. He's an offensive lineman split out wide, but he is lined up, like he's a tight end, but he's not our actual guy on the tight ends. Like, he found little stuff like that to just fool you every now and then, which he's a clever offensive mind. It's just consistently coaching game in and game out, game plan. Anyway, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to turn this into.
Yeah, my thing is, I just people who don't follow Auburn, I don't care much about what they think about the program in the first place because you're not.
It was disappointing for me because Greg McElroy is one of the ones talking, and it's like you grew up
even
in
worse.
Like, yeah, it's like, what are you talking about,
Never
bro?
worse.
Like, right? You should know better than this.
Yeah, my thing is, you want a sense of consistency.
Right.
If you're able to beat an Alabama, why are we struggling against an Arkansas? Why are we struggling against a South Carolina? Like those are the games. Because see, if you can get up for an Alabama, how come we aren't getting up for an LSU?
Right.
On a down year, right?
Take the top 3 teams in the West. We've been getting beat like a drum for the last 8 years, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. Full stop.
Like look prepared. Look prepared on game day. Like look like you actually did some game planning and actually go out and look like you're prepared. Like to me, those are things that are important.
I think Harsin is going to do that flat out.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and you know, as we're starting to pivot to talk about spring practice, right? You know, that's what we're seeing. Guys are emerging in the old spring narrative of this guy looks like a star, but then we're not going to see him during the season. I believe is going to die this spring. That was a common occurrence under Gus. We hear about some guy who's supposedly the next best thing, and then he doesn't even see the field. Oh, he had a fantastic spring. Well, Gus, you didn't play him. So how fantastic was his spring, really? Right. You know, and Harsin, it's clear to me the way they're evaluating talent is much different than what we've been accustomed to. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Indeed.
So I am glad that we are doing something different. So maybe we will get a different result.
Pause for half a second. Lawrence, if you are on Twitter, I need you to submit this as a facts or not question so we can do this. Tweet this at us, facts or not, because we definitely need to do one on this.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. We do. Yeah, right. So, I mean, I see Chase in here talking about Byron Coward again. Like if you have listened to me talk about recruiting in Auburn, you've heard me say this over and over and over again. Number 1 recruit in the nation we landed, and he transferred out.
Right.
Now, I mean, I know the young man had some different kind of deals, but he was good enough to sack quarterbacks in the NFL for the Patriots. So he was good enough to start at Auburn. You will not convince me otherwise. You know, it just took coaching, man. Like you can't coach all these kids the same. I'm seeing a little bit more flexible of a system that Harsin is bringing in, coaching the players you have instead of trying to unnecessarily bend everybody to your will, which was it seems like that's what they were doing. You know, coach these guys, figure out what drives them, what motivates them, and get in there and do it, and then lead by example. Man, this guy hits the weight room with the players at 5 a.m. Baby, come on.
Yeah.
Who do you see doing that? Right. Yeah. Saban, he's a great developer of talent, but he ended up at 5 a.m. lifting with the players. He's geriatric by now, man. He's getting the extra hour of sleep. Our coach is showing them how it's done. And I'm telling you that it's going to make a difference on Saturdays. You know, one thing that I'll tease that Brad Larondo said during his interview was, you know, hey, man, there are hundreds of hours that are spent January through August for essentially what are 42 hours of football during the fall. You know, and that preparation means something. So this spring, what we're looking for is just what looks like clear development. When Bruce Pearl says this kid is going to be the next thing, you could take it to the bank because he's not saying that about just any player. We all knew Sharif was going to be good. There was zero chance Sharif Cooper was going to be a bust. None. Right. And I just realized, Harsin, how it feels like butter. James, my man. Listen, I don't know if you can say that and not be an insider. I might need you to sign up. Right. All right. I need you to sign up to keep putting that in our chats.
Those are facts.
All right. But it does. A lot of stuff feels like butter now. I'm just like, when we're going to get to this season, and I think fans, even if this is a 7 or 8 win season, it's possible we can have that kind of season and be here at the end talking to you guys about how hopeful we are for the future.
Right.
That's all we're asking for. So, you know, if there's a clear,
it's the highs and lows. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just the highs and lows.
My man.
Shout out, James. Appreciate you,
Listen,
my man.
if you're trolling us, we got you for at least a month. I can't wait to see you on these Chopper Notes with Chris
He
Todd.
said,
James.
challenge accepted.
Accepted. Yeah, I appreciate that, James.
We had somebody else hop in here, Dallas. I don't know if we got him in here. But
Hey, my man, Dallas
yeah.
Schwartz.
Yeah, appreciate that very
Bro.
much.
James said, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
No,
Welcome
man.
to the family. Welcome,
Yeah.
man. Welcome. But yeah, man. Like
Lawrence said
again,
he's
for
not
me-
on Twitter, man. Somebody take credit for Lawrence's suggestion. Tweet that at us so we can have that on fact.
Please, somebody tweet that.
It's just the highs and lows, Mike. I feel like you said it. Like we dominate the teams we're supposed to beat, that we have more talent than, but then when we meet teams that have equal or a little bit more talent, we don't belong on the field.
Right.
I think what will give us hope is seeing us actually give them a hard time. Like I'm looking forward to the days where LSU, Georgia, and Alabama look at Auburn on their schedule and be like, crap.
Oh man, right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to them just dreading 60 minutes of being on the field with us. And it looks like Harsin is creating a mentality to where teams dread what they're about to experience when they play us. So I'm looking forward to that.
He said he wanted the mentality of like, listen, when you come to Jordan Hare Stadium, we're going to give you hell. Like you're not getting anything easy in our house at all. And I love hearing him talk like that. That's something I don't know if anybody else has said that in the previous staff. I just know what I heard this man say. And if you're breeding that type of mentality of like, you're not coming into our house and taking anything from us, I want to see them knocking heads when it comes on Saturday. When them home games, man, they need to be rocking in there.
Yeah, let me say this. Auburn Dad, appreciate him. He's consistently one of our most active subscribers. He says, if we showed improvement in every aspect of the game, every game, win or lose, I want to look like we belong in the game against great teams and destroy the ones who essentially have lower or more struggles with bottoms. Like I just feel like, you know what, this is exactly where I'm at, right? That comment encompasses, I think, how a lot of us have felt as fans, in that we need to be. You can lose a good game.
Wait, man, pause. You are 100% correct, Corey. We apologize, my brother. You did upgrade to the insider status, and we missed that. So we need to make sure we give you that love, because Corey been holding us down for a minute. So I do want to take a minute to make sure we shout out Corey doing that.
Yes, Corey.
Your contribution is appreciated.
Yeah, that was rude. Send me your address, Corey, on Twitter. I'll make it right. So I just really think it is. We don't have unrealistic expectations of fans expecting development, right? A clear path, right? To getting better and just feeling like it's headed the right direction. And, coaches make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes during the games. They're going to call timeouts when they don't need to. That's one of my most frustrating things that happened over the last 8 years. I'll be talking to Caesar during the game. I'll be like, why did they call a timeout right there? Clock management was poor at times.
I mean, the profanity that entered my ears during those moments talking to Mike during those, it was a lot for me.
And then we get to the end of the game and we need that timeout he burned. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't understand it.
Here's the thing that I anticipate happening, and you guys can definitely, you can quote me on this or whatever. So one of the things about clock management that happened during the Gus Malzahn time is when you have to do the check with me thing, right? Is that you get up to the line, you've got to rush up there, right? Then this happened a lot more during, who was the coordinator right before, not Rhett, the other, why can't I think of this guy's name?
I know you're talking about
Dillingham.
Not Dillingham.
No, not Dillingham. He's
Troy
at Troy now.
Coach
He's
now.
at Troy. Chip Lindsey.
Yeah. So it happened a lot during Chip Lindsey's time because Chip was up in the booth, right? And so Chip would call something down to the field. Gus would relay, or someone on the sidelines would relay that to the quarterback, but then they'd have to do the whole check with me thing, right? And so they were going through this whole debate about what play call they were going to have, and we would waste 15 seconds of time before somebody figured out this ain't what play we need to be in. Then they'd be calling a timeout, right? That happened a lot during that season because of the way that system was orchestrated. What I anticipate happening in this new system is we're probably going to have some clock management issues early as well, because Bo is going to have to figure it out on the field, right? They're likely going to, as he learns the offense more, send 2 play calls in there, right? He's going to have a play one and then some sort of audible to another play, right? But he's got to get up there, assess what's going on, and decide, okay, I don't like the look we're in. Let me communicate that to everybody, and they've got to figure out how to relay that information quickly. We're probably going to see a lot of, busted plays because they didn't, understand. Right. We didn't understand what the call was or what the audible was, or I couldn't get people reset fast enough. Let me call a timeout. We're going to see a lot of delay of games. I anticipate that happening early, and watch out for this specifically in the Penn State game being the first road game, trying to figure out how to get this communication stuff right.
Man.
So I anticipate that being a problem in that game.
I don't know how full the stadiums are going to be, but have you seen the video of the first play of Penn State, Michigan, where they come up for the first snap of the game, and it was the loudest thing I think I've heard. It felt the environment at Happy Valley rivals Death Valley. LSU. The crowd was so loud they couldn't even get the first play that's usually scripted from scrimmage off. So that's going to be a hostile environment there. They do the whiteout thing. It's a very intimidating environment to go play.
They're going to turn up because they're mad from last season. So their fans are going to be ready for their first real challenge. They're going to come in there. If they're allowing anything close to capacity in that stadium, it's going to be hopping.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. And they weren't as bad as their record indicated last year, because James Franklin has clearly been developing talent there. Now, every once in a while, your program takes a step back for a year while you're, sometimes you graduate an abnormal amount of seniors. You have an exodus of talent to the NFL. I'm not saying that I know exactly what happened with Penn State last year. I just know every once in a while there's a myriad of reasons why a program that has been consistently in and around the top 15 takes a step back.
Well, so Penn State, we'll talk about this as we get into the thing. Penn State actually changed offensive coordinators in the offseason as well.
Okay,
so
there you go.
We'll talk about that.
Right. So new system, just anything that's happening. But my point is that don't expect, just because their record was subpar last year, that they're going to bring that same energy into 2020.
No.
Right. Their head coach can coach flat out. Right. And it is not going to be a cakewalk. And it's and one of the worst things that has happened to us over the last 2 years has been Bo on the road. And that's not taking a shot. That's just statistics and facts, right? At one point during his freshman season, he finished his freshman season with like a 30-something% completion percentage in road games. You can't win. And we threw the ball a lot. So you just can't win.
But see, that's part of the problem in going into those games strategically is we for whatever reason, we decided we're going to throw the ball a ton. Yeah. And I don't know that was a sound strategy for those games. So it goes a lot back to game planning and play calling.
Right. I was following Billy Jones on another post somewhere on the internet.
Out here taking shots. King out here, he came straight in the dough busting.
Oh man, hey, listen. I'm not starting with you tonight, King. I ain't starting with you tonight. I was following Billy Jones on another thing, and he's a little bit more confident in our ability to be able to go into Penn State. I'm not saying we can't win it, so I hope that's not what anybody's hearing. I'm just saying it's going to tell us a lot about where we're actually at and what kind of strides we made this season. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good early road test. It's not an SEC game, so it's a game you can recover from. Yeah. If you take your lumps and you can learn what you need to learn from it. That's how I feel. So, that's just where we need to be. We need to be in a place where it looks like we're moving forward. And even if they go up there and get their asses whooped, if they can come back the next week and look competent, there's sometimes you learn more in losses than you do in wins. So, you know,
Yeah.
I just looking forward to see that this coaching staff can make adjustments and put us in a position to win.
What I'd like to see is, sorry to cut you off, Caesar. What I'd like to see is them go up there and get punched in the mouth and then respond. Right.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I actually,
Yeah,
what
you
I
took
would
my
love
point.
to see is
Right.
we go into Penn State, and Penn State first couple of drives is smacking us. And then the coaching staff finds a way to settle our team down, and we go out there and we play competitively for the remainder of the game. Whether we win it or not, I want to see our teams, because you can't name too many times in the last couple of years where we were getting it was either like even tilt and then the other team pulled away, or we just destroyed them the entire game. Like there were very few, or we were winning and then we let them come back, right? Like there were very few times where we, since really 2013, where we were making comebacks in games. Like when's the last time you remember an Auburn comeback in a game post 2013? Like it just hasn't happened for real. Like am I missing an instance in the last 7 years where we actually were getting beat and then we came back and either made it interesting or won that game?
You mean like against a good opponent? Because we have done that.
I mean, like so, like Tulane jumped out on us early that one year, and then we came. But but like legitimately, where it's like we were getting smacked in the mouth, and they buckled down. It said Ole Miss 2014. Somebody said Oregon 2019.
I thought that was more of a back and forth with Ole Miss.
Oregon 2019 a little bit. I'll give you Oregon 2019 a little bit. Just because Oregon did look like they had that game under control early. But Texas A&M, okay, that's a good example of we came back in that game. That's a good comeback example there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I want to see from Bo is we've seen when Bo gets shook on the road. We've seen it. And Bo has yet to recover from those moments, right? I want to see him have a bad series, but then come back, get refocused, and do what he needs to do.
Thanks.
And what we've seen is that Bo would just drift further and further and further into whatever funk he's in, and the team just suffers as a result of it.
Well, the play calling
see him
would hit
bounce
that way
back.
too. Yeah, the play calling wasn't helping him at all. Like, so I just go ahead and throw on the bone. Like, the system and the play calling, it was hurting everybody. So in a better system where we can remove that as a factor, and that's why I'm stressing, don't miss this chop it up in 2 weeks with Chris Todd, right? When we break down quarterback play, it was if when you can remove those factors and you can actually analyze the quarterback play for just what it is. Then consistently, because there were a lot of things. I mean, the mark of Gus was inconsistency, right? Whether it was how Bo was playing or how the plays were being called or how the offensive line was performing, everything was just inconsistent. So we got an inconsistent result. That produces a lot of 7 or 8 win seasons. Great teams do the right things consistently. So, we're at the 47-minute mark here. So I just want to stress again, become an insider. A number of you have signed up tonight. We appreciate that. Our Chop It Up with a Pro segment with Chris Todd is tomorrow, where we can ask any questions you want. That will be exclusive to insiders. So if you don't know what Chop It Up with a Pro is, we're going to let you know. Listen, people, Chris Todd is a marquee offensive mind. I was completely blown away by his building rapport interview with us. He knows football. He knows what it's like to play football in the system that we've seen. And he just knows QB fundies, right? Like he knows what the quarterback's responsibilities are. I'm very thankful that he chose to sit down with us to chop up film for you guys and talk about what our coaches are going to need to do with our quarterback to produce better quarterback play in 2021. So that being said, our part 2 of our interview with Coach Yox is live. Please go watch this interview. This interview had a little bit of everything, a little bit of emotion. He told some stories about Cam's pro day. I mean, this guy was at Auburn for 13 years as our head strength and conditioning coach. And he helped us to the game on a lot of stuff. You know, when we think strength and conditioning, we think football, right? Turns out in a lot of his stops, he was the strength and conditioning coach for all sports. I didn't know that was even possible. His mind is just full of knowledge. We really appreciate him doing that. Been seeing this a lot in the chat tonight. Get your weight up. Get your weight up. Gear is out. So summer is coming, people. Get your weight up. Hit the gym. That's what I'm doing. I see Corey and King hating on my gains, but that's okay. I'm going to get it right before the month of May. So our GoFundMe is also available here too. We're completely overwhelmed and humbled and honored by this financial support that we've received from our community. We take those dollars and we put them back into giving you guys something different every week. And we do have that plan. So I saw a comment earlier where someone was asking during the season if we were going to go live. And the question is yes. So we had a much smaller following during the season. But if you go back on our channel, you'll see what our Wednesday preview shows and our game day post games are like. We will be bringing you guys that in the fall. So, we're even cooking up something. I don't know. JG Tate likes to go live for the whole game. I don't know if I could sit there for that long, but I will certainly be there in the post game to bitch about what we just heard or saw, or celebrate with you guys. So the War Report plans on being there with you guys every step of the way during the season. You're not going to want to miss it. We also will have additional opportunities for engagement during the season, as well as more content for you guys. I mentioned earlier that we are working on a deal to try to get the All-22 to improve these film reviews. So working with broadcast footage, limits us somewhat, but the All-22 tells no lies. So, I saw Jonathan said he'd sell his left kidney for the All-22. I think I'll sell half of mine, and we'll get it. So we appreciate all the support, and that's it, fellas.
Yeah. Love the cats.
Love the cats.
Appreciate you falling through, man.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and just spring practice continues.
Yeah. We hadn't even gotten into this yet, man. We're talking about all this other stuff.
We've had basically the offensive assistants, minus the coordinator, because we've heard from them already.
Yeah.
We basically got to hear from them.
Right.
And what are our thoughts? Who stood out to you guys?
Bedell. Brad Bedell. Listen, man.
He was a standout.
I love the energy that he had in his. He seems like just a chill, kind of laid back kind of personality, but you can tell he brings that energy to the sideline. He's an offensive line guy who is he's adjusting himself to play as the role as a tight end coach. And because he just the mentality that he brought, he was like, man, when Coach Harsin asked me to come, it was a no-brainer for me to want to be on his staff, even though he had not specifically ever coached tight ends before. Mm-hmm. He said, it's a pass catching offensive lineman. Okay, cool. We got it. Let's go. Right. He was just basically like, okay, that's what I'm doing. All right, great. What do you need me to coach? I'm going to go out here and coach guys up to do that. Listen, you can't, when you have guys that have that mentality, that type of thing permeates over to players, because players then become the selfless types that are like, is this what the staff needs me? Is you guys need me to go function in this way? He was talking about, which of the players was it? Something wrong with my memory and names, but he was talking about one of the guys that basically everybody talked about him being a pass catcher, but how willing he has become with his blocking stuff coming up. It's one of the younger, I can't remember who it was.
Deal from?
I think it was Fromm. Tyler Fromm, I think is who he's talking about. Just how, people talked about how he was a pass catcher pretty much, and it might be to somebody else, but I think it was Fromm. But how willing he has been as a blocker and just wanting to get in there and put it. He said he's eager to stick his face in there is what he said. Pause. But but yeah, just really wanting to be able to get in there and mix it up and actually be a blocker as opposed to just trying to be a guy out there catching passes. He talked about how Frazier is every bit of the physical specimen that people say he is. Like he's a freak. JJ Pegues, he talked about how much he was just, you don't see a guy that big who can move that well, who has those, like, it's just, there's a rare combination of athleticism in our tight end group. And he's super excited to coach him. You can see like how we talked about the enthusiasm that, that we would see from Coach Mason when he's like kid in the candy store about all of the different things that he could do. He's thinking the same way about his tight end group. He's like,
yeah, we've been recruiting him for like the past 3, 4, 5 years. You ought to be an embarrassment of riches there.
Right.
I gotta say the pause, Anthony. I'm sorry. Every time it's.
I don't know if we got this, so I want to jump back here for a second. Corey said, "Facts or no, sack leader on D will have at least 8 sacks." You watch
that's another good one, man.
Watch this week's Facts or No. It's live right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot we talked about sacks. Yeah,
get back at me on this one, Corey. Definitely. And then Walt followed up. These guys are always dueling. Plan on going to Happy Valley. Who's with Walt? Walt, I might actually meet you down there. I think I may actually make the drive from DC over there and bring you guys a little bit of live from Happy Valley, depending on what the ticket situation and the capacity situation is looking like. So I'm waiting on that one. They have a very, very engaged and enthused fan base there at Penn State. I'll be interested to see how many tickets are actually available to the game. Hopefully everybody's vaccinated and we can go up there safely. But I'm gonna hit you up, Walt, if I definitely make the trip. I think it's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun environment. Last time I was around Penn State fans was 2002 when we played them in the Capital One Bowl down in Orlando. So
yeah.
I like this statement here. I like how Bedell talked about making sure all of his guys can do everything, not just being pigeonholed into one thing.
Right.
And the biggest thing about that is you're not tipping the defense off to what you're actually doing based on specific packages. Somebody we know was notorious for that, but under this coaching staff, they want to be able to better disguise what they're doing. So yes, I agree, Kelsey. Great point. Walt also says, I want to see JJ being able to catch things. I want to see anybody catch the ball over the middle in the game. They go back again. How do we, Mike?
It doesn't matter. I will never grow up. I am a Toys R Us kid.
But yeah, I just want to see passes over the middle again, man. Just regardless if it's JJ or receiver, I'm just looking forward to those days, man.
Yeah, man. Love the cats in here. War damn Eagle Beaches.
Yeah.
Listen, the profanity filter on YouTube is undefeated. I need y'all to know that. So if you curse in your comments, it's not us blocking it because y'all know I don't mind it. But YouTube will filter it out. Hashtags, links, and profanity. Yeah, get filtered out, right? And the hashtags to keep spammers out of our comment sections. As well too. So War Eagle, love the cats. He represents us well on other forms of social media. I saw there were some comments talking about the live stream during the deal, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to show the world that side of me.
We're gonna have to have some super premium access type of stuff. Yeah. No phones allowed. All of that. If we can do all of that, man,
we might have to create a special membership tier just for that.
Listen, we'll talk. As we get close to the season again, I told you we got some special things that we're planning to do on game days, specifically for the home games. We'll reveal that stuff as we get closer, but we do have I have some very specific things in some stuff I ain't even told the guys yet that I'm trying to get together. So trust me, it's going to be dope for game days. We're going to be bringing y'all that information very soon because I want to give you the information early enough so you can make a decision on what you want to do for like ticket purchases. But some of this stuff is going to conflict with actually going to the game. But
you know what? I might have all we're going to create like we might create like a $10 tier for insiders of just for my live stream, my personal live stream during the games. But I'm going to make you guys sign a disclaimer or a non-disclosure agreement saying you can't tell my mom. It's gonna be interesting. I am I'm very interested in what kind of emotional roller coaster we're going to go on this fall with Auburn football. I think it's one of the things that makes it fun for us as fans. I think so. I need someone to curse with, Jonathan.
Listen, man. Hey, listen. We got enough profanity to float around between myself and Mike. I might not let them fly as freely.
This would be an interesting OnlyFans idea for certain. Yeah, all right. So I just I mean, it's just one of those things. If I have to have a job interview in the future, I don't want to ruin it. But
you gotta wait and see, Ed. I'm just working out some things, man. Just wait and see what we got in mind for y'all, man.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So I as far as the staff interviews are concerned, let me tell you, I whatever they're selling right now, I'm buying it. I just hope I'm still buying it in the fall. That's where I'm at with the staff interviews, right? Like they're saying all the right things, which is great. I just feel like if there is Anthony Grant, I can't ignore this comment. This is funny, right? Like, so in every relationship I've been in, this has been an issue on Saturdays. When we lose, my mood is poor for the rest of the day.
When I was first started dating. If anybody who's new, my wife is a graduate from the school up north, and when we first started dating, I told her, I was like, if it's a day game, don't call me, because like unless if we win and it's a day game, we're good. But like, just don't call me like in the afternoon if we lost that game, because I'm just not gonna want to talk. Like, I'm gonna be, and I've gotten better over time, but like, it was just like, man, it would mess up my mood. I hate it when we had like those 2:30 games, because I'd spend the morning like talking, me and B will be talking about what was going to happen in the game. The game would happen. Then if we lost, I would have the remainder of that night to like be on Twitter, seeing people say stupid stuff. And, I go out to eat somewhere, and then I just like, man, I don't want to be around no people. So I just thought the War Report became a sanctuary for me, because I didn't have to leave my house to be able to be with other Auburn fans and vent my frustrations with you all. Now, I know we put it up on the internet so like anybody could see it, but it made it a little bit better for me to just be like, all right, I don't really want to talk to nobody else but y'all. Yeah. So
I want to highlight a comment here for a second. This is from CM. It says he lost his dad in January and his mom in February, and this is the only thing taking his mind off of that. Right. Like,
hey, man, that's dope, listen, man.
So I won't, beside all the shenanigans that we show on the show, and I'll try my best not to get emotional about this comment, is that, one of the things that we hope is that we can, through football, keep life in perspective. Right. Yeah. And there's a lot of things going on in the world, and football being the least of our worries. So the fact that we get to actually come together and talk football and have a non-toxic community of fans that can agree, disagree, but love each other at the end of the day, because, is awesome, because at the end of the day, there are more important things going on in the world. Yeah. And so for him to have experienced all that loss, my heart goes out to him. I know a lot of people who have experienced loss this year over the last 12 months. And to come and spend his time with us means a lot. Yeah. Right. That's a lot about what we're building here. Is just we're not here to talk at you. We're here to be community for a lot of people. Yeah. Right. So my brother, if you are not feeling so great, you can always come here and talk to us.
For sure.
For sure.
Pick up the phone, reach out to your fellow War Report community members. And if you need support, man, you got it. That's what we're here for. So it's all fun and games. I didn't mean to hit y'all with the feels in the middle of the broadcast, but I've gotten a few messages from members like this saying that they lost people. Yeah. And I appreciate you being here and spending time with us. It means a lot to us. So
it's again, man, it's genuinely it's the most humbling thing that has happened over the last few months, is that people have come here for a sense of normalcy, right? Just in in absence of whatever other stuff is going on with life, we find a way to get in here and have fun and crack up. And we got lives going on too. Life is happening with us too, man. But I enjoy being able to come in here and chop it up with y'all and have a good time and take my mind off of all of that stuff for a couple of hours a week, man. So it's dope.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get to the game days and be able to share that synergy with you. Like when I kicked this idea to Mike, initially, it was always about this. It was always about being able to share these types of experiences with y'all. Because I know, saying that we all kind of go through those ups and downs with football. But like you said, Mike, like football isn't our life, but we can have fun and lean on each other even in times where it doesn't seem as if everything else is all together right. Then hopefully we can provide you guys a little safe space to come in and have a little fun, man. So man, definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you being open enough to share that with us, CM.
Man.
And again, very humble.
Yeah, community is all we have, right? Like at the end of the day, if you don't have community, I think that's one of the things that sets our fan base apart from a lot of other fan bases. I remember reading a article that the Clemson student newspaper wrote about how inviting and how warm their road game experience was at Auburn when they came down here to play.
Yeah.
Right. And they were just like, we were getting invited into tailgates. I believe we won that game. And at the end of it, nobody was jeering them. It was a very pleasant walk back to the car. They got invited in for hot dogs and beers on the way back. I think that, that's what Auburn is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Right. So I see some other content creators out here, and there are people who, they dabble in rumors and, and beef and drama, Twitter beef and all kinds of silliness, right? That doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? What we're focused on is education and community. And so like that really does mean a lot that, he chose to be vulnerable and share that with us, for sure. So I know that's a little bit of a weird segue from, football talk.
I'm a G, so I'm not going to cry, but I definitely feel you. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, when it goes off, I'm gonna cry. But what I would say is, you can't keep coming back here and seeing the same faces, the same names, talking back and forth. Right. And we not become part of each other's lives.
What
I'm saying?
I just meant to say this earlier, man. Like when we don't see Elizabeth Carano for a couple of weeks.
Where is Elizabeth?
I haven't seen Uzi in the comments in a while, man. I'd be like, man, and it's and it feel I know sometimes it can feel like, man, they just worried about their numbers. Like I just get used to some of y'all coming in here hollering at us, man.
Because y'all become a part of our routine. Yeah. So it's just like we need y'all. Like we need each other. Oh, look at B.
Put some money up. Kelsey with the upgrade too. I appreciate that very much, Kelsey, man. Listen, man, y'all look, I know I say this all the time, man, but you guys have blown me away with the way that you respond to it was just an idea, man. We were just like, let's try some stuff, man. And you guys have made this worth every minute, man. Like I love doing this. Like I wish I could do this every day. Like I wish this was my full-time job to be able to do this. But you guys continuing to support us, man, and telling other people about it, and giving your money willingly to allow us to do this and have this space for you all, man. That's the dopest thing in the world to me, man.
So in line with that, become an insider. Become an insider and come cry with us every once in a while, right? We are providing a lot of experience for that $5.99. If you have not seen a Chop It Up with a Pro, it will be exclusive to insiders. Chris Todd is our next Chop It Up. He's going to answer your questions on this first one, and in 2 weeks from Thursday, they're going to do a film review on the next one. Our merch store is live. This is one way to support us, certainly, and get something cool in return. Ask the members. This is high quality gear, man. The shirts are nice. The Letterman is super nice. I wear it just because. And, the hoodies are nice as well, too. Our GoFundMe is live. Again, this is another great way to support our content. We're taking that and we're putting it back into better content for you before the summer is up. you guys are going to be surprised at some of the access and the interviews we bring you guys before the season starts. So we've been working hard, and in line with that, I can say it now because we got a letter from our lawyer. We are actually officially affiliated with the Lee County Humane Society.
Yes, sir. That's official.
So,
Listen, I keep trying to tell y'all we doing things.
Your donations, 50% of every donation will go to help rescue an animal. I have a rescue animal myself. Her name is Albie, and I don't know what I did before her. So, animals are good for the soul. They're out here. Their mission here is to save animals and find them a home, not only where they will be loved, but where they will give love to somebody and possibly save their life. So as our platform grows, our social responsibility also grows. We want to make sure that we're putting some good back into the world. And this is one way that we're going to do that. So stay tuned with us, man. We have some things planned that I think everybody's going to like a lot. So thanks for chopping it up with us on a Wednesday.
Yeah, man. So hold on, let me just get you straight right here. Because strength and development is a big thing that we need to make sure is happening. We're going to see a lot of that coming up here in the fall. I don't have any whiskey, but I just need to get you to take a couple more sips there, Stan.
I bought some
strength and conditioning.
Yeah, at JG's recommendation, I bought Blanton's single barrel. And that is some of the smoothest stuff I've ever had.
Blanton's really good, man.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good whiskey, bourbon whiskey, I highly recommend Blanton's. That was a heavenly experience. It went down smooth. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
So let me. Somebody mentioned earlier, had we talked about Cadillac's interview? We had not mentioned Cadillac yet. I did get a chance to watch that, and. So what was interesting about listening to Cadillac talk was the portion at the beginning where he was talking about why Coach Harsin retained him as part of as the only member from the previous staff.
Right.
And basically what he said, and I'm paraphrasing, is that he assured Brian Harsin this is the place where he wanted to be, number one. And number two, he wasn't bigger than the program. He was going to come in here. He was going to do his job, and he was committed to seeing Auburn get back to a winning culture. And he was going to buy into whatever Harsin wanted to do. And he sounded completely bought in during that press conference. Like he didn't sound like he was trying to hold on to the previous. He sounded like, you know what? I like this new guy and I like the direction he's taking our program. I'm with it. Let's go. Right. And I think that he was able to convey that in a way that Brian Harsin believed. And he sold it to me again. Whatever y'all selling, I'm buying right now. He sold it to me during the press conference today that he actually believed that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be able to do from the running back position. And Cadillac is one of those guys who, the jury's out, right, as to how good a running backs coach he is, right? I think we're going to see now whether or not he can equip guys to really go out there and be Heisman contenders, be candidates for the Maxwell Award. Like we're going to see how much Cadillac can get guys coached up now, because I think the reins are off. Shout out to my man Avery. He's unleashed right now, right? Like he just let him go and go out there and see what we can do. So I loved what I heard from him in that respect. So I'm really interested in seeing the running back position continue to thrive. And he also talked about how he actually pretty much every coach lamented over not being able to do the home visits and being able to really get out there on the road and talk to some of the recruits and see them up close and personal. So, or bring them in and have them see the opportunity, specifically Cadillac talking about the what sold him on Auburn, and what you hear from a lot of recruits when they actually get here and they see the campus and they feel some of this synergy that we're talking about that the Auburn family provides you. That's what makes them want to come to school here, right? They're sold on the experience more than they are on the program. Right. I think now that we can figure out a way to pair the program with the experience, we have no choice but to get the recruits continue to increase. So, yeah.
Yeah. King says that firing Cadillac wouldn't have been a good look for a brand new coach at Auburn. I thought the same thing about T. Will. But I don't know what happened there. But at the end of the day, Cadillac, I think that I'm excited for him to have an opportunity to grow as a coach under Harsin. Right. And we talk a lot about player development, but we don't talk enough about coaching development.
Right.
These guys, not all these guys have reached the pinnacle of their coaching ability, and Cadillac certainly has not. He hasn't been doing it long enough. So, I'm excited to see what he learns under Harsin in terms of how to develop players, right? If he's not getting, as long as they're getting talent, any 3-star talent, 4-star talent, 5-star talent, I expect us to start producing 1,000-yard rushers again regularly.
Right.
That was a thing at Auburn where we had a crazy stretch where every year we had a 1,000-yard rusher no matter who was at running back. And we seem to have fallen off that. So, I'm ready to see some more 1,000-yard rushes. I think that Tank should be 1,200 to 1,400 yards this year minimum.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, there's no reason why not.
Right.
That's one of the things Cadillac was talking about. Is like, we intend to be a downhill team. You're going to see running backs coming downhill, and he included Sean Shivers in that group, which Shivers is, he's never been afraid of contact. He's a smaller guy, but he's going to come and he relishes being able to get in there and deliver as much as he's taking from the defense. Right. So they expect us to be downhill, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. We're going to smash them from the first whistle all the way through the end. We're going to be going full throttle. And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
And I like too, how he talked about how the guys are going to be doing more, migrating to being more of an all-purpose back than just doing one thing. And to me, it's going to help. It helps everyone out from blocking. It helps the quarterback. It helps the running backs expand their skill set. I'm looking forward to seeing the running back role expand in this offense, man. So yeah, the quarterback being able to check down and the guys blocking, but then release out of the backfield. I'm eager to see how these guys look in this offense. I'm looking forward to it. And
I'm only saying, Spicy Penguin here says 1,400 is modest. I'm only saying that because I don't know how much we're actually going to throw the ball, right? So it sounds like there's a plan for us to be a run-first team and then just manage the quarterback position. But, if whoever's playing quarterback is more effective throwing the ball than they anticipate, and we are balanced, that's why I say 1,200 to 1,400 minimum.
Right.
He could run he could certainly go for more than that. I don't want us to run him into the ground.
Right.
I think he could have a great season, an SEC, all SEC season, 1,200 to 1,400 yards on reasonable carries, on a reasonable amount of carries. I want to see take care of the ball 30 times a game. Right. I really don't want to see that.
Yeah, I think that'd be unnecessary, especially when you have an offense that should allow for you to be, as the phrase that people like saying, multiple. If we can be multiple in the ways that we're utilizing all of the weapons that we have, there's no reason to run Tank into the ground. You just need to be more inventive with your play calling.
Right. For sure. So, Caddy, get him, coach him up, man. Coach him up. And the kid that came in, was it Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Jacquez
Hunter.
Yeah, just Shivers.
He's not on campus yet. This is Shivers' junior year, I believe.
It is.
Feels like he's been here forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, but last year was his freshman year. Actually, I think.
No.
This is his
junior year because I think
right.
The Alabama game.
Yeah, no, last year was his sophomore year. Yep. So, yep, you're right. The Bama game where he blew up Xavier McKinney was his freshman year. So yes, this will be his junior year.
Yeah, I think that I would just be, because he's not to me, he's just not an every down lead back. I would like to see somebody who is a potential to replace Tank, because we know we're not going to keep him all 4 years. Step up and make a pitch to split carries in the backfield. So, it needs to be a clear next man up type of deal at running back. Now, hoping Cadillac can be a part of helping produce that.
They're saying it's his senior year.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it.
I thought it was his junior. I listen. Don't take my word for none of that, because I definitely ain't keeping up with it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Corey, if he's found his helmet yet.
No, he has not. Oh man, I don't know if he has somewhere in some kid's bedroom. down in Auburn. Yeah, they put him.
Yeah,
they posterized him nice and good. So what's our last one here for the night? We Javaris Johnson, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's who Coach Williams talked about, or he was asked about him, and he basically has spoken well of him. He's been the guy who the coaches have consistently praised. So I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he seems to be. He's making plays. That's what we hear about him. He's a playmaker in practice this spring, and that means that he's getting opportunities, and the ball is being thrown to him well enough for him to make plays. So that excites me. And my sleeper for the spring was Malcolm Johnson. I still think he has a chance to make some noise.
Which they talked about Malcolm as well. Now he's a speed guy. He's just undersized right now, so they're trying to get a little more bulk on him. But he's definitely a guy who can take the top off.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance between wanting to put muscle on those guys and then keeping them fast, right? So not weighing them down. But I am excited that a lot of people their eyes I felt like were on Capers and Canyon at the end of the season. And for there to be another guy tells me
I forgot about it. Is his senior year. He had that breakaway run his freshman year that got called back on a dang on holding penalty. You're right. Yep.
But I am excited to hear about Javaris Johnson because again, it means that they're evaluating talent much differently than the last staff. Not to say that Canyon and Capers aren't talented. But I've always felt like we probably weren't playing the best guys all the time.
Agreed.
Right? And so for a guy like him to emerge and possibly be a number one receiver for us is encouraging, to say the least. I don't think that it is not it's not to get down on the other guys. I think that I think we have a lot of talent at wide receiver. They're supremely talented and super underrated.
Agreed.
Yeah, as a squad, we just have to find we just need an offense that can get them the ball in space more consistently. So excited about Javaris Johnson. I think that he is going to be. I think he's going to be something special. I've seen some comparisons to Ryan Davis. I see Lawrence Robbins saying,
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I think he's a little faster than Ryan Davis, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he probably is too.
Yeah. Ryan Davis was kind of like
he's shifty.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really have breakaway speed. Javaris Johnson,
he did make some moves after he got the ball, and I'm hoping Javaris can be that too.
Yeah, for sure. So
Corey got a question here. Do you guys think we need a transfer wide receiver to come in after spring? I mean, if guys are healthy, if we're healthy, I don't think so. But what do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we just need to develop the guys we have. Personally, that's not a position where I'm looking at transfers coming in, wanting to see transfers there. I think we have enough talent that was underdeveloped that needs to just be used and coached correctly. So I wouldn't be super encouraged if they brought in some kind of serious contender or wide receiver. I don't think that would speak well of what we have. They don't need to do that. Our guys are young. They're fresh. They haven't seen a lot of game action, and they're all talented. I've watched all their tapes, man. They're all extremely talented. Just get them the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
We need a system that gets them the ball.
I think we should go all in if a tackle hits the portal after spring ball, or if we stumble across a running back we like. I mean, I think we should go after those needs. But I think we got enough receivers at this point, especially if we're able to get those guys healthy.
Yeah, I like our receiver group. I've been high on them. Really, I was high on them last year, and I felt like we didn't utilize them properly. So we return. I understand our top three guys are gone, but I just feel like those freshmen that were not playing last year were a really good group. And we've got some talent there, and so it's really just going to be about how quickly those guys can step up to understand this new offense and what they're going to be required to do as a receiver, actually not being a robot on a play. Right. So we'll see.
Facts. I see that we have a new commenter here. Love the show. Tank will have 1,500 all-purpose yards. I am looking
That
forward
would be a
to
good facts or no.
seeing if he catches more balls out of the backfield in this offense as well too. I don't.
I'm really hoping he does. Like again, and from all signs pointing to what Cadillac talked about, him wanting to have all the back speed, more all-purpose types. Right. That's what I anticipate happening. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good point, HBZ. Can we talk about Coach C. Will mentioning the scramble drill? Yes.
Yeah, they practice the concept of a scramble drill because we have a quarterback who, you know, for better or worse, will break free on a play. And it's like, okay, so now just do the wide receivers understand what their responsibility is when that happens? So they've actually been practicing that to know, okay,
situational football.
He breaks the pocket. What are you supposed to do? Right. Yeah. And if this was not being practiced before now,
wow,
I'm not even going to finish that statement, but you know.
Yeah.
I think you know the answer to that. But yeah, man, I think it's a good look, man. I again, Coach Harsin said everything we do matters. I like the fact that we're focusing on game scenario situations and are practicing it to the point where they can perfect it. It warms my heart to know that we're going to be prepared for whatever situations the offense finds themselves in the fall. So
yeah,
again, another reason that makes me feel good about where this team is heading.
Yeah, better play calling will help with that as well too. So like if we have a plan to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands more consistently, you know, I was telling everybody because there's a lot of misconception about how long is long when in terms of sitting in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
know, 3 seconds in the SEC is a long time to get to throw the ball flat out. And Bo had on average about 2.8 seconds to throw last year. And that should be good enough to find a receiver if the route there are options for him to throw to. So, you know, the offensive line took a lot of heat for slow developing plays that were designed that way with no outlet for the quarterback early in the play.
Right.
You know, so the only option was block for 3 to 5 seconds, which is not always reasonable against SEC defenses.
Right.
You know, so when you get blitzed, your QB and your play call needs to make the defense pay. That's how you keep the blitz honest. And we just did not do that enough. I blame play calling first. After we broke down wide receivers with Devin Aromashodu during his chop it up with the film review, it was just clear there was nobody for Bo to throw the ball to.
Right.
And the 2.8 seconds that he had to throw the ball just wasn't there. And then when the play breaks down, 3 to 5 seconds is where your quarterback extends the play where he can make a play. After 5 seconds, disaster is usually waiting. For 99% of quarterbacks, not named Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, there's only a special few who past the 5 second mark can make magic happen.
Right. Definitely Corey, my bad.
Me too.
He said facts or not, someone should be slapped if Tank is returning kickoffs. Listen, man. We've got again too much talent on this team to have
speed. Malcolm Johnson. Put Malcolm Johnson back there.
Right. Put the Johnson boys back, you know, returning kicks, and we'll be good. You can preserve your other guys for doing other things. Like it's just no reason to do that and risk it.
Your bell cow should not be on special teams.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just think they were both dynamic punt returners in high school.
Yeah,
super dynamic punt returners. So they know what to do with the ball in the air. They know how to find the crease. Just they're anybody but Tank. We have the talent. I'm telling you, talent evaluation gave me a headache last season. I'm really hoping that we're talking about something very different this fall. So, you know, after A-Day, I can't stress, you know, because we're talking about practice. What I expect to see from this open practice is I expect to see that some of these position battles have narrowed down to the 2 deep. Right? Like, you know, that's what we're going to see is that they've narrowed it down to the 2 deep, and we know pretty much who's going to start and who's going to back up or who's in contention for the number one spot at most positions.
Right.
And offensive line, they've got to fix offensive line. I can't stress enough. They have to play better. But I'm not sure based on what we saw last year that they're going to make huge strides on offensive line. I think the play call, I think they're going to have to make some strides, and then play calling is going to have to help them the rest of the way.
Yeah, Will Friend talked about offensive line, and just they're right now they're just trying to find the best 5-guy mix is what he said. He's like, we're trying to find our best 5 guys, and he's not focusing so much on this guy needs to be a tackle, this guy needs to be a guard. It's just like, who are my best 5 guys, and we'll figure out where we're going to put them and teach them how to play that position. So listen, the mindset of Will Friend is like, listen, you get me a guy, I can show him how to play the position. Mm-hmm. So I am very confident in his ability to coach him up. But again, I think that's going to be a slow process of trying to understand what the adjustments are going to need to be on the fly to pick up the blitzes and all that kind of, because we were awful in blitz pickup last year. They didn't handle stunts very well consistently. If you were doing any kind of games up front, our offensive line was confused consistently. So it's going to be interesting to see how we adjust this year.
But the way they're practicing now, going against the first team defense, seeing these things, they won't be so shocked when they get in the game day situation because they're seeing a lot of this in practice. So again, that should be helping these guys at least get acclimated to what defenses want to do to the offensive line. So I think that does help, and that's something to keep in mind, man. Shout outs to Enigma for becoming a member. But yeah, man, I think I feel good. I feel good about, and by the way, guys, tweet if you're on Twitter, tweet these things. All right.
Yeah,
that's funny,
I like that.
We need the screenshot. We need the screenshot for the graphic on. That's why we asked you guys to tweet it. We cannot pull the screenshot of your question from live comments. So if you don't have a Twitter, create one just for this. You don't have to tweet a damn other thing but this.
Right.
And I hope being satisfied. But you guys really put some good facts and all questions in these comments here. And we definitely want to be able to use them. Tony Baker, your field goal kicker having the most points is not necessarily a good thing. Facts.
Agreed.
Facts.
Agreed.
No. Yeah, facts.
Agreed.
Hey, Felix, late to the party, but appreciate you hopping through, man.
Felix Gonzalez, my man. I haven't seen you in a minute,
Felix?
brother. I hope that you're doing okay. We are, it's just O-line, everything. Everything just needs to just look a little bit better than it was, after that putrid bowl game that we watched. I think of all the games that we watched all year, I didn't have high expectations, but I thought we might get to see some other talent, on exhibition. Like, it just didn't nothing. I mean, it was a real down way to end the season. Right. And I'm really hoping that Harsin can turn this frown upside down headed into the fall, because we have the talent. I can't stress enough. We have the talent. Gus could recruit. He could recruit. Yeah. I don't think he
just
knew how to
retain.
Yeah,
or evaluate.
Evaluate. Yeah, right. Like so. I just don't know. There's we got if you watched King Dunlap's Chop It Up film review, which is again live for insider members. You can go back and watch that. We talked about a lot about Brahms at center, and there were just a lot of plays where you listen to King tell it. He was like, "Listen, man, he needs to find some work. There's ribs available on 58. This person, that person. He just didn't have anything to do on too many plays after he hiked the ball."
Yeah,
it was, and all the while they're getting pressure on the quarterback. So, I am telling you, I think a lot of that has to do with how offensive line schemes and plays were designed. And maybe if they can just teach him, because I have problems. I'm iffy on Brahms, guys. Like, at first I was just like, man, he can't play. And then when you go back and you look at it, you're just like, but maybe this is how poorly our offense was coached.
No, it's clear. Like I said, when your technique was that bad on some of that stuff, it's clear that that's coaching.
Right.
I can't believe that he played that poorly. Somebody else saw that on film, and then they were just like, he's good. Right. Like you're not coaching it right.
Yeah. Philip Coleman says Browns was a lookout guy. Oh my god. I can't with y'all. Corey says no, maybe. Like, gee, he can't play. Like, I just think that's how poorly he was coached. I'm iffy on it, Corey. Like, I was like, wow. So hopefully we see some marked improvement there at center, because it's going to be a long season. I hope we're running a lot of quick slants, and they got a plan to get the ball out of Bo's hands quickly. Hopefully Tank it becomes really good at breaking that first tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays like that,
well, see, run blocking though, that wasn't. He wasn't a bad run blocker. He just was terrible in pass pro.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Which again, I don't understand why we didn't run the ball. Like, it's just like everything tilts towards we should come in with a game plan that says we run the ball, even though
I think Lawrence Robinson knows why we didn't run the ball as much as we did last year. Lawrence Robinson can tell you all about that. Ain't that right, Lawrence?
Felt jealous. Here's a question for you: Is Harson's blocking philosophy hat on hat or zone scheme?
So from the tape I admittedly have not watched a ton. I watched a little bit of the Boise tape. He does do a lot of zone blocking scheme. So it will be interesting to see how they handle the zone scheme. I mean, we had some zone scheme with Gus as well. So, but again, because he does do a lot of different things, it's not all zone. Like, he's going to mix it up, and he's going to do, some different things with the blocking scheme. So it's not going to be strictly one or the other. So, but he does do a lot of zone.
Yeah.
I didn't say the name. I didn't say his name, Lawrence. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I see Alabama Prep is in here. I haven't seen you in a while.
He's been gone for a minute.
Where have you been? Welcome back. Chad Morris. Hi. I don't know. Like,
I didn't say it.
Yeah, we've got a lot. I think to look forward to. I know before we close out here tonight, we appreciate everybody joining us. So I'm just going to do one more plug before we go. Chop It Up with a Pro is tomorrow. If you are an insider, this is exclusive for you. This is going to be your time. Ask Chris Todd any question you ever thought you wanted to ask an Auburn starting quarterback. He was the first quarterback under Gus. He has got a lot of insight into what the quarterback's responsibilities are. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys' questions about quarterback responsibilities pre-snap. If you're an insider and you're listening to this, don't let us forget to cover that with Chris. He came up under Mike Leach at Texas Tech. He was behind Graham Harrell, and he won the starting job at Auburn in 9 practices off a shoulder surgery. Can't stress enough. Just an awesome offensive mind Chris Todd is. So you don't want to miss this. To become an insider, hit that join button on the front page of our YouTube. If you are on an iPhone, you can't sign up through the app, but you can request the desktop site on your Safari browser, and then the join button will show up and you can sign up there. We appreciate everybody. This is the best way to support our channel. Honestly, as we grow, our content grows, and your memberships allow us to be able to bring you even more content. I can't stress enough, even beside the Chop It Ups, these building rapport segments are going to get good coming toward the season. So, we're going to bring you guys additional content. Ike and I are talking about a lot of stuff gets talked about when we turn the cameras off. We're talking about possibly providing some of that content for you guys. If you are a member, that will be exclusive to you. Our merch store is up. A number of you have purchased merchandise from us. We certainly appreciate it. This is a good way to support our channel. Everything that we sell feels like butter, just in case you weren't aware. So, and especially the Letterman. I bought that for myself, and I wear it at least every other day. part 2 of our interview with Coach Kevin Yoxel, the legendary Coach Kevin Yoxel, is up. This was a very telling interview. Again, this had a little bit of everything. We had emotion. He told stories about Cam's pro day. You know, he really broke down a lot for us. And we appreciate him giving us 2 hours of his time. And it was all so good. When I was editing, I couldn't cut anything. And so we broke it into 3 parts because I wanted you guys to be able to get all of that content. So part 2 is live now for members. Part 3 will go live Saturday for insiders, next Monday for everybody else. And as always, our GoFundMe is up. You can hit that find the link on the About section of our YouTube channel. I also dropped it at the top of the live comments. But we are overwhelmed and extremely humbled by the generosity of our community. Every dollar that you guys give, we take and we put that back into better content and more access for you. I've said it every live for a few weeks. There are a lot of people out here on YouTube asking you for money for absolutely nothing in return, but not at the War Report. We are taking that and we are improving the quality of content and the access to the program. So we appreciate everybody who supports us.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again, everyone, for hanging out, giving us a little bit of your time on Hump Day. Be on the lookout for some more content. Of course, Facts or Not has already dropped for our subscribers, but it's going to release for everyone on Friday. We're going to see y'all on the weekend tailgate. Until then, guys, please, if you haven't already, what are you doing? Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on these internets, Twitter and Instagram at The War Report. You can also find us at TW Report on TikTok. Signing off, guys. Have a great week always and forever. War Eagle.
War Eagle.